How important is it to tell the audience the truth? How important is it that when you have an audience who trusts you with something, that you come to them with information that's accurate? You're the audience, you tell me. I mean, what do you think about when a guy's working and a guy's hustling? Sometimes you know. If he does it well enough, you accept it. You ever watching a magic act, right? You know he didn't just pull a parakeet out of his sleeve. But if you couldn't catch him doing it, you'll be impressed. You'll give him a round of applause. And if you're close enough, you'll throw $1 into his hat, right? I mean, there's times in life, if it's done well enough, any pro wrestling that you've ever watched. Anybody who's a storyteller, right? People say there's misinformation and there's fake news. You hear this topic all the time. And I always want, time out, excuse me. There's only two ways you can tell a story. There's only two kinds of stories on God's earth. You have fiction and you have nonfiction. The author is one of the two. There's not misinformation, disinformation, leading information, slanderous information. You have fiction and you have nonfiction. Generally, the author tells you ahead of time which his story is. Now we're living in a world where the author doesn't identify himself, but make no mistake, it's no more confusing than that. Did you guys watch the Amber Heard trial? So Amber Heard, Johnny Depp never took Amber Heard to court to win $15 million. What it ended up, 12.5. He never took her to court to win money. And he didn't take her to court to beat her because there was no chance he was going to beat her. As much as you guys love, I read some of your comments in the section. Chael, you cannot be slanderous about somebody if it creates malice and shut up. I know that your teachers told you that. I know that your parents told you that. I know you believe that to be true. You're not going to find me a law book to back up that simple claim. She was protected under the First Amendment, period. Period. There was nothing from a legal standpoint in the jurisdiction this was held that would trump her constitutional right to freedom of speech. I wanted Johnny to win just as much as you guys did. That's the reality. But Johnny did not take her to court to beat her. He did not ever believe that he could beat her. He did not show up on the last day because he did not believe that he was going to beat her. But that wasn't his point. His point was to publicly tell the story that this is not what happened. This is a gross misinterpretation. So he went in and he effectively did that. You have to understand that. Because now it's not an opinion. This is not my opinion of whether she should be protected. And this is not your opinion of whether she lied or not. It is official on the books that she lied. That's extremely relevant because what she does now is going to matter. I watched Amber Heard as recently as this morning doing an interview about the case, about the trial, and she restated all of the things that she initially made claims towards Johnny, that he beat her, that he physically abused her. She restated those claims today, that she would stand by her testimony. It was one thing a week ago when you're trying to get 12 people not smart enough to get out of jury duty to see it in your favor, and they saw it Johnny's way. They said to hell with what the rules are. We like this person, we don't like that. That's official, though. Do you know what precedence means? Like a week ago when this was still being deliberated, it was fair game for her to come out and make those claims. Once the gavel comes down, it is officially a lie. So for her to do an interview this morning restating those things when it's already been proven a lie and now there's a precedent, he walks her ass right back in there. He walks her right back into court for the statements that she made today, except now he has precedent. She's going to get beat again. I don't know who is advising this young lady. But from any physical standpoint, and she even testified that she had a publicist, like those things aren't helpful. For you to be rich and a do, for you to be in the upper 1% in society and not have provided a good or a service to society, not to have contributed, not to have worked in any kind of a fashion, it separates you from the jury who gets up and works every day. It's one of these things. So to go under oath and testify that you have a publicist just puts you in a little elitist club. Which, by the way, some people have earned the right to be in that club. If you're not one of them, you just slept your way into it. It's a big pushback. And she continues to want to come back and be in this loft, but now she is making the same statements that have been proven to be a lie. It's not an opinion at this point. And there's precedence, and I don't know who's advising her. And if you're in her spot, you take your oars out of the water, you lay absolutely low, and when you resurface, you know what you do? You know what you do? The hardest thing in the world, which no human being wants to do. You want to know what she does? You apologize. That's what you do. And it doesn't matter if you want to hang on sacrimony or not. The gavel has come down. This was ruled. You come out and you apologize. It is the one and only way that you can move on. Now, I'm asking you guys this. I'm asking you because I'm watching you push back on her. She made some very bad statements. I mean, when you talk about somebody that's getting some very bad advice, when I tell you that she got into this upper 1%, but she did not earn it, like, it's extremely clear. This is not an intelligent person that you're dealing with. She made a statement within this interview that she does not begrudge the jury. Not at all. But she does begrudge you on social media for coming to the conclusion you did. Not the jury for coming to the conclusion they did. You guys had the same information. You, the audience, who she begrudges, and the jury who she doesn't begrudge, it was the same trial. So, I mean, some of these things are they're very wacky. Lay out, come back, apologize, lay out again. Okay. I tie this into an interview, okay? You want to see the bridge that I'm going to make here? I tie this into an interview that I saw from Leon Edwards today where he was talking about round 5 with Nate Diaz. He said, I got so bored of beating him up that I lost my focus and took that punch. Is that helpful? Is that helpful in the rewriting of history, which every single one of us is guilty of doing? Have you ever read a business book, guys? The business book is written by a guy, and the guy knew. Regardless of what everybody told him, the guy knew because he had a deep belief. No, he did not. He took a risk. He put himself in a certain position. That's what happened. And then once it works out, you retell the story. You retell the story to your Merlin the magician. And you knew these certain things, and you worked in a certain way, and you took these. You didn't do any of those things. Here's a situation. Your plan worked. This guy's in it. You're not smarter than him. But when you rewrite the book, you most certainly were. Leon is rewriting this to say that he lost focus and therefore he took the punch, and the punch didn't hurt him in the first place. Why not say it was one hell of a punch? Why not say I'm so lucky he landed in the last round and not the first round? Why not say I apparently threw him off his game. He didn't know that he could get to me. I flustered him and frustrated him. One time in the punch, he lets that punch go. He should have thrown that punch 15 minutes sooner. He should have thrown 3 more right behind it. He could have won the fight. What do you do then? You'd be completely stuck. You'd be completely shut down. I see fighters get hurt all the time. They go to press conferences, right? Some of them are even wearing sunglasses. You know those weirdos, they get beat up so bad and then they got to show up with sunglasses to a press conference. They look like dorks, but it's to hide the swelling. And then they proclaim that they weren't hurt. Oh, he never hurt me. He didn't do anything to hurt me. What would it hurt if you said he did? What would possibly be bad with you showing the audience who's a human being that you're a human being? That when somebody steps in and punches you in the face and gets a swelling and closes your eye, but you dealt with it and pushed through it anyway. Why would you claim it didn't hurt? Why would you claim you lost your focus? Like, what story is it that you're attempting to retell? Why can you not give your opponent credit? George St. Pierre was the master of this. Nobody could go with George St. Pierre. Nobody could beat him, but nobody could even win a round against him. George would go to press conferences and do nothing but build his opponent. He'd constantly build the opponent. The only allure to could George St. Pierre lose tomorrow night is because every time George opened his mouth, it sounded like he's about to lose tomorrow night. What would be wrong with building your opponent? What would be wrong with telling the truth? What would be wrong with Heard shutting her mouth, which continues to get her in trouble, and has her out breaking the law? It was a debate last week of whether she was breaking the law. Now there's a precedent. What would be wrong with shutting up? And when you do come back, you apologize. What would be wrong with winning a fight, but when you do reflect on it, commenting on what a tough and trying night it was? How much truth do you expect to get? And if it's from the greats, it's from the great workers that can do it straight to your face when you know that they're hustling and you appreciate it, you'll throw $1 into the hat for the guy pulling the bird out of his sleeve. But the rest of the time, when you're caught, when they're moving this hand, hoping that you don't see this hand, but you do see it, how much does it bother you?